I'm punk rock. Are you? Kick it. Hey, thanks for coming back. Thanks for clicking on this video. To all the subscribers and other people that just happened upon this video, thanks for checking it out. Day 2 of Riot Fest and punk rock. We're going to talk about all these things. Let's get started. I woke up after a good 4 hours, maybe just 4 hours of sleep. I had some nutritious meal. You always want to start your day off with nutritious meals. Watched the doggy eat, walked the doggy, took the train, which is a little more eco-friendly this time around. Took that train to Riot Fest. Got there. As I walked through, I heard some pop music. It was Charlotte Sands. She's a new pop star. People are calling her pop punk, but I think people are way overusing the word punk and pop punk these days. If someone is just pop and they're playing to like electronic music in the background, it's just pop music. It's just pop music. You know, so she colored. Everyone colors their hair nowadays. Everyone has tattoos. I see stroller moms walking around with full chest plates and sleeves. It's not edgy anymore, people. So just because somebody looks that way, they're not really punk. It's just pop. I listened to a song and then started walking over to get ready for Fear. Before Fear, Fest organizers had a nice little thing about Ukraine, telling people to donate a little bit of money, whatever you can. I guess they found a good, trustworthy organization, and hopefully it gets to the right hands. I'll leave a link for that organization down there, and I myself can make a little donation to help them out. We want to wish them the best, man. I did not think that they would still be battling on. Just shows you, you know, the human will to really fight for your freedoms and fight for what you think is right. I feel bad for the people of Russia, because probably the people are like, we don't want to be there, but things the leaders make us do. I was walking around, you know, I saw like the little stores. A lot of punk for people is like fashion. When I was in the punk scene, we used to call them like the fashion punks. You know, the kids that look all punk rock. You know, are they really, do they hold the values of, you know, the punk community, and are they supporting the shows? And we never saw half those kids at the punk shows. They were just like to hang out at the north side of Chicago at the time and just look all punk rock with it. Look all punk rock. We call them fashion punks. So they're a good amount of stores to appease the fashion punks at Riot Fest. And also they had like groups like Amnesty International. A lot of people, I don't know if you think about punk rock, a lot of the punk rock community is always about helping each other out. You know, it's just not about, oi, let's be in the mosh pit. What I get and got out of it is a big community. You know, some people are jerks, obviously, in any aspect of life you're going to get your jerks there. But a lot of people were really cool in the punk rock community. They're always looking to help each other out. When I was in a band, easily 20-25% of the shows that I played were always for some kind of charity. Either helping somebody with some bills, or trying to open up a center for punks to hang out in, or, you know, so many charities. We even played like church charities, hardcore for the homeless, Food Not Bombs, a whole bunch of stuff is always helping, and I really like that about the punk community. It's about helping each other out. So we saw Fear. Fear, I've saw it last time at Riot Fest, a few Riot Fests ago, or it was the last Riot Fest that had Fear. Leaving, I was actually supposed to, I was in a band, we were supposed to open up a show for Fear. This is like 95, 96, and the word was Leaving was a big prick. And the promoters really didn't want to deal with him, and when they were talking about what he was asking for, no bands really wanted to open up for him and his version of Fear at that time. So I always just was like, their music's kind of fun, but it's a shame that things are the way they are. But my friend talked to Leaving just backstage at the show, and he said he was a really nice guy. So maybe at that time he was a jerk, and now he's warmed up in his old age. He's like 72. I'd hope I'd be alive at 72, let alone up on stage screaming lyrics. You want to do yourself a favor, Google Fear Saturday Night Live. Their Saturday Night Live performance is epic. Probably the coolest time a band was ever on Saturday Night Live. So Fear played their debut album, The Record, which is a great record. You gotta get that. There's certain punk albums every punk has to have. You know, Sex Pistols, Ramones, Fear. It came out in 82, so I think it's 40 years old. Way older than the majority of the kids in the Fear pit. But it's such a great band. Check out a little bit of Fear. So here, beef bologna made me hungry. So I went and got some pizza, and as I was walking across, I'm like, that band sounds familiar. That was the Get Up Kids. Now, I really like their sound. They have a song, Satellite, which is off their latest album or one of the new. I think it's a brilliant song. Brilliant song, Satellite. So I picked up a few of their albums. I just couldn't get into that stuff as much as I liked that one song, Satellite. After that, I walked across the park to the Rebel Stage, a little stage that's far away. And this band, I think I was watching a Flogging Molly video on YouTube, you know, and then they, you know, you get into that YouTube wormhole, and then they just suggest things like, hey, try this, try this. And this band called the Bridge City Sinners came up, and I really liked it. It's kind of like that same vein, except they're not like kind of Irish punk. They're kind of like folk pirate punk, if that makes sense, from Portland, Oregon.
All hands on deck. Taking the sails. Up in the distance. You hear sound.
So, yeah, so like I said, it's like some kind of pirate folk music. The singer, Libby, what a personality. You want personality. I hate singers that are just like, it's our next song, or when the whole group looks at their shoes, or we don't really want to be on stage. Well, then get the F off the stage, because there's bands that do want to be on stage. I like bands that have a little bit of oomph to them. And she certainly kicks ass, and it was a great show. I'm looking forward, I think they just have one album. I'm looking forward to purchasing that album this week, because I really like the Bridge City Sinners. Up next was a band I've always wanted to check out. They formed around 80, so they've been around for a while, called 7 Seconds. I had the honor of opening up for Kevin Seconds, 1998 or 99 at the Fireside Bowl, epic place, historic place here in Chicago. It was my one and only kind of comedy spoken word evening. I just told a bunch of inappropriate stuff and stories that now would get me canceled within 10 seconds of me telling the stories. Epic hardcore punk band. A lot of people say they're the first real hardcore band. I really like them. I never owned any of their albums. I always wanted to see them live. I just never got the chance. So this really made me want to go out and buy some of their records, because I noticed some of their stuff was like hardcore. Some of the stuff had more of like, I don't know, like just rock and roll. Like, I don't want to really say pop punk, but just like punk rock and roll. It was really catchy stuff. He's got a great voice, that guy, Kevin Seconds. And I want to point out, because I took a picture of a kid crowd surfing. The whole crowd surfing thing. You guys are lucky today. In security at Riot Fest, I'm usually not one for security. I don't know why. Sometimes punk shows even have security. I hate that they have a barricade up there. I think more people are amped to get hurt on it, jumping off the stage, but I think I know why they have it at big festivals, because they need to create, you know, a path. So I get it. But usually security are jerks, especially, you know, older punks will tell you way bad in the 80s and stuff when you play clubs. I got into punk 90, 91, and security was still at the tail end of being really jerks. I mean, they were not happy about you crowd surfing. They didn't want you to mosh. It's not anything like it is today. If they saw you on a crowd, they were pulling you down, punching you, and for sure you're getting thrown out of the club. It was a lot of work, from the bands to talking to security at the club, saying, hey, this is what we want. We don't want people getting thrown out. We don't want you beating the shit out of people because of crowd surfing. Like, stuff like you don't even comprehend at Riot Fest, because they're there to catch you and then put you to the side, catch you, put you to the side. Trust me, kids, enjoy that aspect of it, because security was not always like that. They were looking to beat the living hell out of you because you were crowd surfing. So I went off to the Rise stage to look at the Messingers. I think I've seen them before. They're from Scranton, Pennsylvania. They formed around 2006. I liked them. It was catchy stuff. Again, I'm jaded. Was it enough that I'd go out and purchase their records and want to go see them again if they came around? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You hear so much music, and it really takes a lot to get at you. This next performer got at me, but not in a positive way. I was walking up and heard some poppy kind of music. And it was Youngblood. He's from the UK. He's 25, so I'll cut him some slack. He's one of these guys, let me color my hair and look edgy. I don't know if it's really true expression of himself, or if he's jumping on kind of the bandwagon thing of everyone trying to look edgy now, everyone having color hair, and I don't know. So I don't know what's in the person's heart. But what did rub me the wrong way, I hate performers that spend half of their set time telling people to jump and show me your hands. If your music is good enough, people are going to do those things. I've seen the crowd go crazy for bands, and the lead singer hasn't talked to the crowd one time about what they should do when the band is performing. So I hate, like, maybe your music isn't that good, or maybe it doesn't have enough for the crowd really to get in it. So that's why you're spending half your stage time telling people what to do. I don't know. I'm sure little 12-year-old girls really think he's edgy. Good for them. I think it's kind of plastic. Then, speaking about plastic, you look up to the corners and you see what the VIP area is, and then there's this ultra VIP where you get your own condo or something. Is that punk rock? I don't know. I always look up at those people like, you're losing your punk points. You're supposed to be down here with me sweating it out in the general admission with all the other crazy people. But I guess if you can afford it, always in life, money talks, bullshit walks. They added that stuff a few years ago, the Cabana. It just seems like elitist. And now this is punk rock. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. Mixed feelings aside, I had to swallow a little bit of pride and actually go backstage for a chance. How I got backstage, if I told you, I would have to kill you because it's a secret. So with my general mission, somehow found myself backstage, only for you, the viewer, to show you what backstage life is like. I went backstage, checked out the little food area they have, the little tent area they have, the little corridors. While walking through the corridors, I got to see Libby and the guitar player from Bridge City Sinners. Got to take a little selfie with them. But is it a selfie with two other people in the picture? I just say photo. Screw that word selfie. Took a nice photo with them. That's a nice lady there. That's a lady you bring home for mama. Mama, look at her. She's a pirate. It's an awesome band. Like I said, man, she's got great stage presence, great personality. Of course she's going to look like that in the picture. That's personality. Walking through, saw Daryl from the Bullywuls. Took a nice little picture with him. Always run into him at Riot Fest. He's, of course, singer of the historic Chicago punk rock band, the Bullywuls. Also, for a first, walked up to the side of the stage, ran into Joe from Rise Against, another person I've known since 1991. I tell you, Joe is doing great with Rise Against. They're big. They often play Riot Fest and the big stages in front of the masses and millions of people. So it's my first chance up on the side stage. I'll show you a few views of how it looks. It's got to be awesome. When you're in that band and you're looking out to see people like that, has to be awesome. And it was an honor to stand there while Bad Religion was playing. When I got into punk, like, they were like the statesmen of punk. Like, they were kind of seen as an older band then. This is 91-ish. And I saw them play with Green Day, some little band called Green Day, All, and Seaweed. And it was an amazing show. People in Chicago know I'm talking about that. It's one of the shows that like everyone went to. Love Bad Religion. What a career. 17 studio records. Started out in 1982. That first album is so great. But it's just, what a career they've had. Always love seeing them. Always a fun time. Always a great group of guys playing some great punk rock. But again, that is a hell of a view. And that's exclusive for you, Brian's Funhouse viewers. Exclusive view of Riot Fest for you. You're welcome. From there, I took a little corridor backstage. A whole nother world back there. It's a whole nother world. Oh, also backstage, got to run into Kevin Seconds, which I reminded him about that great comedy opening act that I did for his show, and he kind of remembered it. So I took that little path corridor, saw Guar. I really thought Guar was probably going to call it quits when they lost their singer Dave, but they haven't. They've continued on. I guess that's the punk spirit. Keep going. I'm never close enough to get that fake blood stuff. Is it music that I love? Musically, yeah. It's interesting music, but they're more of a visual. From there, I stayed on the general admission side and went to Gogol Bordello. I know they're a big band. A lot of people love them. The Ukrainian, I believe they formed in New York. New York's a great melting pot. So is Chicago, and so is Toronto, actually. Actually, Toronto's like the peaceful version of a melting pot. I always feel bad for people that live in like small towns around the United States that there's only like one type of person or one race or what. I love a nice melting pot for food, for culture, just friends from all over. It's just great. So hats off to New York for that. So anyway, they formed New York, Ukraine. Obviously, Ukraine, big hot topic right now. Their songs are really hitting home. They're really, you know, they said they actually performed for some of the troops. So hats off for that. Good job, Bordello. So I was checking them out because I knew up front, next was the big band of the night, the Misfits. In rock and heavy metal, you have Kiss, and in punk, you have the Misfits. You know, we get all dressed up, get all crazy. Glenn Danzig is like 67 now. Boy, has the time gone by. He was always a scary figure until you realize he's like 4'6" or something. And see, I can say that now because I've lived long enough. I could probably take Lee Ving and Glenn Danzig in a fight. You live long enough that you get to smack talk your favorite punk rockers. Oh, speaking about Lee Ving, how cool is he in Clue? The movie Clue with Tim Curry, Lee Ving plays the body. A lot of people don't know that. That's good stuff. I love the movie Clue. Bring it back to Glenn Danzig. He's got a reputation of being a prick. Let's just call it like it is. A lot of people that have had to open for him or had to clear a backstage area because he's coming around and he didn't want people taking pictures for a long time. He's always been kind of an edgy prick. I don't mind that because I think rock and roll needs its characters. Punk rock needs its characters. Heavy metal needs its characters. Hopefully he's lighting up in his old age. But I don't know. I think he's got to be that tough guy. That's part of his thing. That's part of being the singer of the Misfits and Sam I Am and Sam Hain, whatever they call it. Sam I Am. That would be the punk band for Dr. Seuss. 4 hours of sleep. Remember 4 hours of sleep. But they played their first album, Walk Among Us. I think they only have like 3 proper albums. They had 2 records and they released a record that was actually supposed to be their first record. And then they're a band that you're going to see tons of records from, compilations from. It's really hard to keep them in track. Hey, speaking about the Misfits, since this is primarily a vinyl channel, excuse me, Joey. Excuse me, Willie Nelson. That could also be Kevin Seconds. This is some of my Misfits vinyl. I think it's all my Misfits vinyl. Friday the 13th. This is more recently. It came out. American Psycho. I think this is a like bootleg copy. This is when Graves was in the band, took over for Glenn Danzig. This is really cool. This is the 1980. Sessions, really early stuff. That's really cool stuff. Halloween, Vampire, I Turned Into a Martian, Skulls, classics, Evil Live from Misfits, and of course Walk Among Us. This is not an original press, but one of the earlier type presses, I believe. I don't know. It's red, purple. There's so many versions of this one, but this is what they played tonight all the way through. I took a break, a few songs, to go buy me a T-shirt. Because that shirt line was long all night long. But if the band you like is playing and you want to get the band shirt, time to go when the band's playing because all the fans are watching the band. And then I came back and they were still doing stuff off this. So all in all, great punk night. Had a great time with the crowd. Great time backstage. Great time all over. Punk rock. Yada yada ho. I need to go get some sleep because I still got one more day at Riot Fest. Took the train home. Oh, on the way to the train, had some church street tacos. There's a church there. People know what I'm talking about. You go 4 or 5 blocks east of Riot Fest on Ogden. Nice church ladies always serving you some tacos. Been going there every time Riot Fest has been at their new location for the last 7 years. That is a for sure thing for me. Street tacos. Support the local communities. Talk to those ladies. They're always so sweet. And that's how I close my night. Hey, thanks for watching. Because you made it all the way to the end of this video, you're punk rock too.